All right, you're welcome back to the show. Still good morning, Anambra, right here on ABS TV. And this morning we'll be looking at the topic, stopping the menace of plastic and other waste. This is in commemoration of the 2022 World Cleanup Day that is happening on the 17th of September. That is tomorrow, and we are here to talk about it today. We have with us in the studio this morning Onyekachi Ezulike. He is the founder and CEO of Green Republic. Onyeka, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. We also have Fumi Adeniyi. Fumi Adeniyi is a team leader, Africa Cleanup Initiative, Nigeria, Anambra State chapter. Fumi, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Just to let us know that World Cleanup Day unites the volunteers and partners worldwide to rid our planet of trash, cleaning up litter and mismanaged waste from our beaches, rivers, forests and streets. So it is important that we talk about it because we know that when waste are not managed well, one is that is detrimental to our health and also our environment. That's why we are talking about how we can actually arrest this menace and stop the menace of plastic and other waste in our environment. Of course, we are in Anambra State, so we talk about Anambra State. Okay, so let's start with you, Onyekachi Ezulike, the founder and CEO of Green Republic. I like that name, Green Republic. Tell me more about it.
Well, Green Republic is a recycling and renewable energy social enterprise.
Okay.
It's one of the, it targets one of the, or a few of the sustainable development goals, so which is why we are a social enterprise, because we are not just in business for a quick buck, right? So we take care of everything green. We're building a conglomerate of sustainable way of generating energy, for instance, recycling and making sure that we recycle before producing virgin materials. So that's why the name Green Republic.
All right. Talking about waste and plastic disposal in our country. Now, how would you actually describe the attitude of Nigerians, of Anambra, when it comes to disposing wastes?
Well, I sincerely think that as Anambrarians, we simply don't know what to do with waste, right? It's probably because we don't have an efficient public waste management system like you have in developed countries. And decades of that have made people to develop what I would call a dysfunctional relationship with waste. So you find waste almost everywhere. And you find dysfunctional behaviors like flinging waste out of the window normalized in this part of the world. So that's what I think. I think we don't know what to do with waste, and I think it's really come back to haunt us.
Okay, I will agree with you, but not entirely. Aswama, they are really working. They are really trying their best. Lately, of course, we have a new administration, and we know that they've been trying to reconstitute the council, that's the governing council of the board there, and all that. And lately, of course, if you ask me, people that saw what happened like 2 months back and now what is happening now, they are really trying in making our environment clean. But then again, let's come to you, Fumi. Now, why is it even important that we talk about disposal of our waste and, of course, plastic?
Okay. It's really important because, like you asked earlier, what's the attitude of the people towards waste disposal? And I will say that is more of an attitude of apathy.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you a simple story. I was in a bus one day, and then someone flings her, she ate and flings her styrofoam plastic takeaway out of the window. And normally, usually what I do is that once I see you want to do that, I try to stop you immediately, right? But I wasn't on time. She had already thrown it out. So I started talking to her that this is not nice. You shouldn't have done this. Next time, leave it in the box or put it in your bag. Normally, that's what I do. So she took offense, and then she started abusing me. You know, I should not educate her. I should go and talk to my family members. You know, all those things. She just said a lot of things. So, but I didn't mind. But the one that broke my heart was when she now said, is it my road? Is it my father's money they used to build the road?
Wow.
How is it my business what she throws on the road? I was really disturbed. I'm like, okay, is this really people's mindset about this thing? Like, they don't really care. After all, I'm not the one that built the road doesn't belong to me. Maybe the flooding of the drainage doesn't even get to your house, maybe, when the rains come, and all those things. So the environmental apathy is a serious issue. So it's important we keep talking about it and keep creating the awareness that people should learn to manage their waste properly. And I always say that I was reading something on Punch newspaper online where Sanwo-Olu said, that's the governor of Lagos State, said he was going to close 2 markets because they are not going according to the policy they gave them for the waste management. And, you know, going to the comment section, people were abusing him. So, but they don't understand that waste management is not just for the government. It's also the responsibility of the citizens. It's even more of our responsibility than the responsibility of the government. All right? So, we need to keep talking about it so that people will understand that as government is trying to put their own efforts to manage this waste, they should also help the government, cooperate with the government to do what they are supposed to do. If the government puts a receptacle here and say this is where you should throw your waste, do it. Don't join the people that, you know, rain is falling and they feel, oh, this flood is going to take away my... those things, I cringe when I see them.
I've not seen someone doing that, but I saw it last week.
Yeah.
This is a grown-up woman, a married woman with kids, because I saw the children around her.
Yeah.
It was already, bring it for me, bring it for me, and
gosh.
she just carried it and poured it inside the gut. I was like, so this is actually happening. That was the first time I saw that.
When I see those things, I cringe, because, you know, so it's a mindset, right? It's a mindset that we need to change. It's an attitudinal thing. So that's why it's important we keep talking about it, so that the mindset of the people will change, so that they will know that this thing is not just about the government. You have a greater role to play to manage your waste properly. As simple as don't fling your bottle of water or whatever outside the window. Keep it.
I used to think that all these public transporters that they have waste bin, the small buckets inside their vehicle that you can throw in all those things if you use them instead of flinging.
They do, but nobody actually, you know, abides by that.
Some of them, not even all of them.
Dysfunctional relationship I was talking about. Because waste management is not just the problem of the government. It starts from where the waste is actually generated. You need to sort your waste, separate it properly. You don't just mix everything up
together.
It's the separation that is the problem, like right now. Because a lot of people, they don't even know that you need to keep this one, the bottles different, the cellophane different, and then the one that you can use for compost manure.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
You don't mix everything up. So that's why, you know, a huge part of what we do at Green Republic is actually sensitizing the people. Because they need to know the basics. This thing, if you go abroad, a 2-year-old knows that if she drinks a bottle of water, she knows the correct bin to put it in. But if you come here, a 2-year-old doesn't know anything about that. Even an adult doesn't know that. So we have different incentivized models, you know, apart from talking about it, because when you speak to people a long time, it goes through one ear and leaves through the other ear. So we've created an incentivized model.
Okay, before we talk about those models, because I know that's where you're heading to, before we talk about them, let's look at the impact, the negative impact of, you know, littering our environment with such waste.
Okay, well, where do you even start from? First of all, the one that we see every day, right? If you fling a bottle of a used PET plastic bottle out of your window, chances are that it is causing, gully erosion in Achina, for instance, and is displacing people from their houses, but we don't see the connection. So that is a huge environmental, repercussion of not managing waste properly. And then recently, researchers have shown that there's what we call microplastics now. So microplastics are plastics that have been left in the environment. So weather conditions have disintegrated them, and now they end up in our waterways. They end up in our rivers. They get into the fishes that we eat, and then they get into our body. So apart from the environment, it also has health implications. And then these plastics have, additives, very dangerous ones that are injurious to health. So, I mean, we can talk about it all year, but it's really, really bad if, the implications of not managing waste properly.
Okay, for me, let's know what you do at the Africa Cleanup Initiative, Nigeria. You are the team leader there.
Yes.
So talk to us.
Okay, so African Cleanup Initiative is a non-profit organization, but an environmental non-profit organization. Okay. So what we do, our mantra is raising environmentally responsible citizens. So basically what we do is that we collaborate with other organizations, agencies to organize community cleanups. And since we started in Anambra, in Oka here in 2019, we have organized like 5 community cleanups so far in different communities in Anambra here. All right, and then we also have what we call the Educational Recycle Pay Project, which we have been doing in partnership with Green Republic. So we go to schools and speak to them about recycling, putting away their plastic bottles, their cans, the can malls and the canned drinks, putting it away, and then the Green Republic will come and buy it off them, and it will be a way that they use.
Okay, you work together.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's going to subsidize for their school fees. So that's also one of the initiatives that we have been doing in Anambra here. But widely, we also have other initiatives that we have not initiated here, but that we are doing. We have what we call Pad a Girl, and then Pad a Girl is we go to really, really serious slums, right, rural areas, where we know that they can't afford sanitary pads. So we talk to them, they bring the recyclables, and a recycler will pick it up from them and give them a sanitary pad. Right.
Okay,
so
I get the point now.
Yes.
Are we talking just about the bottles?
Yeah, the bottles and the cans and pure water sachets as well. All that, that's also one of the initiatives of the African Cleanup Initiative. So amongst other cleanup exercises, community cleanup, market cleanups that we also do all around the country.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, let's now talk about the models. Now, this is a way of actually making our environment clean, and then we can still get economic value, right? Yeah. Let's talk about them.
Okay, so what we have done at Green Republic is, apart from sensitizing people, we try to get them more engaged, in waste management, separation of waste, and recycling. So what we do is we have different models where we give people back benefits for engaging in recycling or waste management. So we give people anything from vocational training to health insurance, we also have a point-based system where people can be recycling and getting points, and then they can use these points to get electronics, cash, household items, provisions. And we have this school program that Fumi just spoke about, where we go to targeted schools and we encourage the kids to we teach them waste separation and recycling. And when they keep doing that, we subsidize their school fees or their books, for instance. So these are ways, apart from just speaking about it and talking to people, this incentivized model has proven successful in target communities, because people now see the benefit. If you go to communities where we are, you don't see these things lying around and littering the environment, because now they see the value of it. They know that if they keep it, separate it, they can use it to get something. So that's a way to get them engaged in the whole idea of waste management.
Okay, so you do also buy it off from people, apart
Yes.
from exchanging it for something else?
Yes.
You do exchange it with money too?
Exactly.
Okay, now a bag like, because there's what I saw on the television now, a bag filled with bottles, just bottles like this. Like how much can you give to the person that bring this kind of bag?
Well, it depends on the weight, because
Okay,
everything is weighed.
Okay,
So
okay.
everything in waste management is weighed. So if you weigh it, we determine how many kg it is, and then we're able to either assign points or pay cash based on the weight of the actual item.
Oh, okay. Because I've seen a whole lot of people picking bottles now.
Yes.
When they come for an event, you see them picking bottles, and
Yeah.
then the sachet water nylon, right?
Yeah.
You see them picking them up. And now let's still go back to this day, commemorating the World Cleanup Day. It started since 2018, and yet today we are still talking about how we can clean up our environment and make it better. Of course, it's a continuous stuff.
Yes.
But then I want us to actually, look at our progress so far. Since 2018 till now, when it comes to keeping our environment clean, when it comes to people, the attitude of people towards waste management, what will you say? Have we really achieved something?
Oh, well, I won't say we have not achieved. We have, because I know that since I joined African Cleanup Initiative in 2017, of course, World Cleanup Day hadn't started at that time, but I know that there has been a lot of sensitization and awareness, and now that World Cleanup Day is there, I know that I'm also aware that many organizations like ours commemorate it and they do something, and all around the world, not just even in Nigeria, because it's something that is commemorated all around the world. And I know that organizations environmental organizations like ours, non-profits, will always do something in commemoration, maybe a cleanup, maybe like an awareness, maybe like what we are doing here today. And I will say that knowledge has increased a bit about cleanup, about sanitation. I will say we have not made any progress. We have in commemorating the World Cleanup Day, because I know that is something that they do all around Nigeria, not just the world now. We're talking about Nigeria. So we have made a bit of progress. People are aware of it, and people want to do something to commemorate it, even though we still have a very long way to go. That's the truth.
Sure.
We still have a very long way to do, but I know that people are becoming more aware about the World Cleanup Day, and knowing the importance of it, and knowing the proper waste management attitude, let me put it that way, and every other thing that goes with it. So I would say yes, that we've made progress as a country, as Nigeria, and even in Anambra State, because I know that 2 years ago we had a project called 5 Million Plastic Challenge.
Yes, I remember
and
that.
It involved everybody all around Anambra, and that was like a massive...
Okay, so you were part of
awareness.
that?
Yes,
And when are you planning to do another one?
Yeah, we'll see hold another one,
Okay.
definitely. So it was massive. I mean, I think that's the largest kind of plastic waste activity that has happened in Anambra State or even in the East so far, because we were able to recover almost like 1 million plastics in different places in Anambra State. So that's awareness alone. A lot of people are now doing it on their own, even without that program. A lot of people are now doing it on their own. They understand the value and they understand every other thing that has to do with waste management generally, not just plastic waste management. So yes, we have made progress.
All right, we'll continue with our discussion right here in the studio, but let's get people's opinion on, stopping the menace of plastic and other waste, not just in the world, but in Anambra State too. Let's hear what they have to say.
First of all, to sensitize the public. I think that's like the first thing. When the public knows that you're not supposed to throw things anywhere you see them. Then secondly, to place things, let the government like bring people who can place things like things outside where people can say, okay, this is specifically for plastic, this is specifically for any other refuse, for refining and all of that. Yeah, so I think that's like the main thing. Then let there be consequences, really.
Issue of waste disposal as related to plastic is something that we should give attention to. Now, in the first place, I think strict laws, need to be put in place. This is really difficult, say maybe in our society and other things, but when there are strict laws on how to control these things, the long run, right, it's going to be to our own advantage. So I've mentioned about strict laws being put in place and followed up. What could be involved in the laws? Someone throwing plastic, unnecessarily on the road. It shouldn't be tolerated. It shouldn't. Looking at it, it makes the environment dirty.
Ways we can do that is by trying to, create disposal bins within the vicinities in order to encourage the inhabitants of the environment to dispose the waste instead of disposing them indiscriminately. Another way is by creating or maybe an industry that can easily recycle this plastic waste. So that is one of the two major ways.
So once government with task force na afumakia, at least chekwanya like 1 or 2 months, people ga makia. You got to go. But obu no ihe just bia na ekwu n'ọnụ onwere mkpụrụ ga amita. But enwe task force na afumakia. Abia na park etu a asị na ndị na afu maka onye tufu pure water abịakwa. Onye ọbụla ga-atụba egwu. You got to go. Onye tufugodo ọkụja na ndị adịkwa ka ga-ejiri ọtụtụlụkwu ya gaa na dustbin tụnye. So na etumwa na-eche enwe ike isi wee mia wee nwe ike mita mkpụrụ. Ịghọtago? So once government set out task force feche na ego ga-erifa, because this government are now na work due process fa eme ife aka azụ unu na tonya analụ ni ego. Once unu nwude mmadụ mere ife a ọ bụrụ charge bia much enwe ike detain ya for 4 or 5 hours ebe ahụ ọ na-aga efunaria for that time. Ịghọtago? Arapụkwa ya echi niile. I don't think na other person nwere ike ime something like that. Ịṅụsịa pure water tufuo, ịṅụsịa my own na ntụnye na ime moto ma ntọgbu ya na ebe a nlu ebe m nwere ike ịtụfie ntụfuo ya. Ịghọtago? So no ihe nna akụwa gọọmenti set task force a na-akwụ ndị a ụgwọ ọnwa. Ịghọtago? Fe enwe ike lụọ ọrụ dị mma. Ọ bụrụ ịnwudo onye a narị 1000 rapịa, no, enwudi akpụghị ya somewhere detain ya for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours arapụkwa ya.
All right, you're welcome back to the program. Onyekachi, of course, you heard what the people said about waste disposal. Now, the first person that spoke made mention of, having a receptacle placed outside and it's been labeled where you can put your plastic here, put other waste in this other one. Yeah. And then she also talked about consequences. Now, stringent actions against the defaulters, yeah, and also task force, according to the man that just spoke last. So you think that with all this in place, that to some extent it can help to reduce how we, dispose our waste?
Yes, well, I think the application of all these things could actually help, but I doubt if they will be sustainable. Because it's one thing to employ a task force, but how long are you going to keep paying them? So I don't think it's a sustainable solution. A sustainable solution is the one that gets the people, gets the masses involved, in waste management, really. And I think the receptacles angle is also very important, because it all goes back to providing that system. Because if you tell somebody, sort your waste at home, when the person is done doing that, then what? So if they don't have that system, that public system, or even public-private system that takes this waste off them, then they're going to still dispose of it indiscriminately. So I think some of that idea would actually work, and we should be looking at ideas that are sustainable.
Fumi, do you also think that it's going to be sustainable and it's going to work? Because I know that this present ASWAMA in Anambra State, of course, this is Anambra, so I'm talking about Anambra State, yeah, that they are working towards bagging their waste separately. Because the last time the ASWAMA boss came here, he talked about that they are working towards achieving that. And now they have contractors who go on a particular date to pick up waste from particular local government areas and also wards around those places. And I think these are some of the things they are putting in place to see that we have a safer and a cleaner environment in Anambra State.
Okay, yeah, I'm aware of the new way of waste collection here in Anambra, and when I met with the MD of ASWAMA, and we spoke about it, I was really, really excited, because I know that what we have been doing is an ancient way of waste collection. Just coming to drop a receptacle in an area and say, everybody come and pour your waste. It doesn't exist anymore, right? The normal thing is house by house collection, street by street collection. So I was really excited when I was given the details of how we are not going to be doing it now, street by street, house by house. You bag your waste, bring it out, and then the ASWAMA picks it up, which is also very, very sustainable, because that is what is actually supposed to be in the Western country. That's what they do. And then, but another thing we also need to start pushing, which I don't know if, because in the area where I live, they have not come there. Okay. So I don't know if they are educating people on that, but waste sorting is very important. Waste sorting from source, because in the Western world, if you don't even sort your waste, they won't even pick up your waste in the first place. All right, so you don't mix your waste together, so you sort it. So they pick it the way their trucks pick it. They have the different compartments for those the recyclables, the paper, and all those ones. So we also have to really, really create more awareness for waste sorting. All right, because waste sorting is not rocket science, really. It's not rocket science. I will use myself as an example. There are some kind of things that, because I also work with Green Republic, I sort my waste for them to pick up. So there are some kind of things we even see in my bin. All right? So you have your plastic bottles, you put them aside. You have the cans, you put them aside. You have the pure water sachet, you put them aside. And then composting, your kitchen waste. If you have a farm, you have a small garden. I have my small pot of aloe vera. I just pour my kitchen waste in there, all right? And then it's actually a no-brainer. So it's something that I think we are not doing enough. There's not enough awareness. If we are able to say, if you don't sort your waste, we are not going to pick up your waste. It's going to really work. And then another thing I found out, we have the issue of scavengers going to those places to scatter. I mean, they are a major issue of littering, especially in Anambra State. Their issue is major. So, but I always say, if we sort our waste from home, even if nobody comes to pick it up, we take it there, we won't have that issue of those scavengers catching. You know why? Because I've bagged my plastic waste in one bag.
Okay. So once they touch it, they know what is up there.
Exactly. So once they touch it, they know what's there. They don't need to, start catching and start bringing out all those things. So, I mean, waste sorting is really, really important. That is actually that's the fundamental of waste management, really.
Yeah,
that's where the waste management starts. You sort your waste in your house. And then, so even if you have to take it out, it's also not going to be a problem when you take it out. It makes it neater. It also helps the scavengers not to scatter and litter the waste everywhere.
All right.
So waste sorting is something very, very important that we need to drive.
Hello, good morning. Okay, you could go ahead. You're welcome.
On this topic, like sometimes a man came on this show and he talked about this, how Anambra has been able to put up agencies to look into it and how they can really help to sanitize Anambra. And I also made a comment, or I commented earlier. I still want to bring this to around, understanding that it's what we call back system, like I told you, like a value, both lady and the rest. I wish they can give us the opportunity to put up proposals that will really help. I commend the young woman who really said very good, vital point. There are ways to make this thing and it becomes very, very valuable. I mean, they can monetize it, give jobs to people. Like I told you in South Africa, the bus system, street by street, they make sure every month you pay a certain amount of money to the people who collect all this waste. And again, they also make it in a way that when you have plastic, all those plastic disposables, you can make money from it. If you gather them and take it to companies that recycle them. If Anambra State government can privatize these issues, so that companies can come and take over that the issue, and they can employ people who will go around, gather these things, and recycle them. The only way that I hear about durable remains of these vegetables, like banana peels, like those peels, all those things, those ones are really constitute terrible pollution. If they had a way of controlling that system will really help. And that is important. Whereby somebody defaults, you impose serious labor on that person. The person to put this street and even every project, they make sure that every month is 3,000, 1,000, 2,000, 500 to pay, so that they will have people who will always come and clean up the area. That's
all right. Okay, Chukwu?
You can contact us.
Okay, Chukwu, are you listening to me?
Thank you very much.
Hello, okay, Chukwu. Are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
I remember that the last time the asthma boss came, you called and you talked about proposal, and he said that if you are interested, you can send in your proposal. So you can still do that. Yes. This present administration is running an open government that you can come up with a proposal and then they'll look into it, and if it's going to work, they will call you to come and do that. So you can do well.
I'll be very happy if I have a comprehensive address to give it to, where to send it to. I'll be very happy. In Anambra, I'm in George, like you say, and I always follow up your story. I love APS. So if you can give me such, the contact on how to do it, the contact to submit it to, I'll do that very, very well. I love Anambra State, and I will really, really want to contribute my own quota, So please, I don't know how can I get their contact. If you can help me, I don't mind.
You can do that. You can draft that and send it to the website. Portal, I thought he gave you the portal the day he came. But then again, we'll still get back to you on that. All right.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much. Now, she talked about awareness, creation of awareness, so that people will understand the importance and how to sort our waste and all that. Now, where do we take this awareness to? Of course, we are doing something here, but believe me, you know it's not all. In fact, not even up to 10% of Anambra are watching us now, because most people are out doing their businesses and all that. So where do we take this awareness campaign to?
Well, just typically from our partnership with Africa Cleanup Initiative, we target communities, right? So when we go to communities, it's really a community affair. So that way you're able to target, larger groups of people, and then you assign responsibility so that when you go, what you set up there can keep on going. And what we're doing right here is also part of the advocacy. And just any be it social media, just any medium really. No medium now can be neglected. Just any medium that people watch or listen to. Of course, now people don't read much, videos do a lot, in terms of sending messages to people. But yeah, doing the legwork of, going to targeted communities as well. It's very, very important.
Okay, now, so who are the actors who are the people that will carry out this campaign awareness campaign rather? Of course, we are doing it here. Now, I expect that your organization will also do same. So what about the churches? What about the community leaders? And,
Yeah, so this is the responsibility of every stakeholder, the churches, organization, offices, and everyone citizen actually is a stakeholder of the stakeholder in this thing. So everyone is supposed to just tell other people, like the story I told about the lady I spoke with in the bus.
Yes.
And that's my usual practice. All right. And so it's everyone's responsibility wherever you find yourself. Like what we do in African Cleanup Initiative, we go to communities. We also for our Abia State chapter, they are planning for World Cleanup Day. Their plan is to go to churches throughout this month. Go to churches to sensitize them. All right, that's what they are doing in commemoration of the World Cleanup Day. And then because our organization is headquartered in Lagos, so for what they are doing there, they have had several market cleanups, and when they come to the market, they sensitize them first, and they do the cleanup together, right? Clean up the market, but before them, they've been taught of what proper waste management, what to do, the importance, the impact, because really, sometimes when you don't know the impact of something, you are not really invested in it, right? So they also are being told, you tell people, these are the health impacts of this thing. Are we also even talking about the aesthetics? Are we talking about the impact on the environment. The flooding and all that? And I normally say that sometimes when people do all the things that they do, and especially in places like Lagos, so the rains are here, everywhere starts flooding, and then maybe channels or AIT goes to a community and they are interviewing them and they say, we are calling on the government. I mean, it's not the government that told you to pour your waste inside the drainage. So why exactly are you calling on the government? So they need to understand that what they are doing is what is causing the effect of it, is that flooding that they are experiencing. Because you pour your waste in a drainage and you feel the flood is taking it to somewhere, it will still come back to you, right? And that is what they don't understand. So we should use every medium. Radio stations, every average person listens to the radio. So there should be awareness created on radio, created in the communities. You go to communities, go to talk to people, like what we do in African Cleanup Initiative. We go to a community, we want to hold a cleanup, we first sensitize them.
Okay.
We even give them trash bags. Talk to them about separating their waste. If this is your receptacle, separate your waste, bring it here. Aswama will pick it up from you. Don't put everything together. Most of you are farmers. Your kitchen waste is enough. You don't need to even buy fertilizer. It's even more effective and healthier than using fertilizers to farm. You know, so every like he said, every platform should be utilized. In church, everywhere, you teach them that this is how it's supposed to be. And this, most importantly, this is the effect. Because once they know the effect, you will see that their attitude will start changing. Because, for example, let's talk about air pollution. Most of these things, they have emissions, toxic emissions that they bring out that but you don't even know. And research has shown that air pollution kills people more than every other disease in the world. So once they know that the major cause of cancer is because of some of these plastics in the environment, a lot of them don't know. A lot of them need to start understanding that your health is dependent on how your environment is. And everybody wants to be healthy.
Of course.
Yeah. So once they know that, once they are being told that, I'm sure people's attitude will start changing. And you know what they said, repetition is the law of deep and lasting impression, right? So we are not stopping. It's something that is continuous, and that is why everything that they commemorate in the world, not just environmental related, is every year.
Is every year.
Because you keep talking about it until it gets
also to create the consciousness in people.
So,
all right, do you have any activities lined up for commemoration of the day tomorrow?
We're planning on, no, not for tomorrow, but eventually we're planning on holding a plastic challenge. You know, just so we get people to, you know, have just pockets of plastic challenge where they bring out their plastics and it gets taken off them as well. And I also forgot to mention that we also have this, apart from recyclable waste, we also have these biogas systems now where people can also use their, you know, kitchen waste and all these other waste to, you know, generate gas, cooking gas for themselves. So we do that as well. So
you actually train people on that, on all this?
Yeah, well, we train people and we also build these systems.
Okay.
So we train people to build the systems and we also build the systems.
Okay. I mean, one of the things that I see that irritates me, especially when rain is falling and you see the waste, you know, littering the road, is this a place that they used to sell food that they call takeaway plates.
Yes.
Now, can it be recycled?
Yes, it can.
That particular one.
It can.
I'm not talking about the one that has cover. I'm talking about the one that
is.
yes. Can it be recycled? Because it's littered almost everywhere.
We don't have people recycling it now.
No.
But I know it's recyclable elsewhere in the world. So, and this is where you know, public-private partnership comes in, because most of the recyclable companies that I know of are private establishments, and they don't have any, especially in Anambra State. I don't think Anambra really has you know, that connection between private and private-public partnership, especially when it comes to this you know, this recycling aspect. I don't think they know that it's a major aspect of, you know, of trying to manage the waste that comes from the entire environment. So it's recyclable, but it's not being recycled now, especially in the state.
Okay, for people like Okechukwu and others, you can actually join the conversation with Aswama on Facebook. Just go to Facebook and type in Anambra State Waste Management Authority, Aswama, and then you join the conversation there. If you have any advice, or you talking about the proposal that you want to write and you want to talk with the boss himself, you can join in the conversation right there on Facebook. Well, on that note, we want to say a very big thank you to both of you for joining us this morning. Fumi, we really appreciate your presence. And also, Onyeka, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, so that's it on the show this morning. I want to say a very big thank you to everyone, the people that called and everyone that joined us today on the show. We're talking about how we can help and get a clean and safer environment, and that is stopping the menace of plastic and other waste in Anambra State. It's what everyone would join hands to do. We can do that if we put our mind to it. It's about attitudinal change. It's about our mindset, teaching our children, teaching our kids in schools, at homes, that if you eat, if you're not where you can dispose of the waste, you just put it in your bag. When you get home, you do that. And then talking about sorting of our waste, it is quite important that we do that. It's not a rocket science, just like Fumi said. We can do that. Just if you have your plastic waste, you put it in a different bag. If you have other waste that you generate from your kitchen, you put it in a different bag, or you can use it for your farms and other things. These are what we are preaching, and we'll continue to preach them because we need to change. We need to have a safer environment. We need to have a cleaner environment. My name is Chidinma Oranwa. Thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of Good Morning Anambra. Have a wonderful weekend.